Guys, we're up over $800. As you can see, we're running up it's going to be the other way. I have to turn the camera around so that you guys can see. There we are, up over $800, as you can see, running here. And obviously in the inner circle, I just let them know. All right, this is a free group, but in the inner circle, we have hit plus 200 pips on our trade. Finally, we finally get that trade on the Nasdaq. I am super excited. Finally, something that is actually making sense. I'm looking forward to seeing this trade pushing up to the top. Ooh, it almost hit my final take profit, but then we are going to shift that up to the top because I like the momentum right now on the trade. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, you guys, I'm just getting back indoors right now and we are live on the Nasdaq chart. As you can see, we are actually still riding this incredible wave with my inner circle, and just look at this. We are sitting at a good 400 pips in profit, right? But what I want to do is to rewind a little bit and explain to you the most important part of this trade. It's not just the usual Nasdaq trade that I took and it's so simple. It actually has, something behind the scenes that I just want to explain to you guys. But if you look at my watch list right now, you can see that everything is absolutely shooting up to the top, right? The US market is currently on fire. We just got in the news that the president does not have any intentions of firing Mr. Jerome Powell, and honestly it's just about to be really crazy if the market continues with this momentum, right? So I initiated this trade at around about this level on the Nasdaq. It was actually a limit order that I had, right? And then I shared it with my inner circle, right? So the limit order was actually triggered on Monday, late Monday evening, I think thereabout, and then it was not a smooth sail from there. It actually started to dip down, right? And then the market was in drawdown for quite some time. And if you notice, we are looking at a 4-hour time frame, so this was a really big significant period of holding, right, and actually trusting your analysis. And now the strategy that is behind all of this, it is the place where I actually placed my stop loss. $1 million question that separates everything here is, where did I actually place my stop loss when I only just had a point of interest, right? And I didn't actually use a horizontal array, right? And then this is where things get interesting. Now, that thing when your stop loss is always tapped on and then the market moves in your actual direction. Now, how do you want to always avoid that? Notice most of the times you're always going to have at least 2 points to form a trend line, and then the third touch is not yet formed. Now, a normal person would have taken these 2 points that I'm having here at this level and then tried to force a trend line out of that and then have 3 touches. And first of all, you would have been taken out of this particular trade, and then secondly, if you had taken a buy, your stop loss would have still been bad. Right now, I normally say we should accommodate the wicks on the horizontal raise, but in this case I'm actually going to show you how you can just use this trend line to target this exact level that I had. You see this leg that the market just formed, how can you predict that, right? So you have your 2 points. First thing is to take the swing point right at the low, if it's a wick, if it's a body, and then connect it right to the next wick or body, and then whatever is in front of that does not concern you. The only thing you want to do is to extend the line of the trend line, right? So you can see that is how you just form the trend line. You connect those 2 levels and then just extend that line. Now you are expecting that the market will now come and sit at that particular level. In this case, it actually did just sit at that level. Sometimes it can come close to it, sometimes it can break out of it. So when I connected those 2 levels, I decided to push my stop loss right below that level. In this case, it was a bit tight, but I was accommodating this wick that I'm having here and then also accommodating below the trend line, such that if it breaks out of the wick, I was expecting it to test the wick first and then sit on the trend or come slightly closer to it, right? So that's actually the simple thing that I used to put such a stop loss in this particular case, as you can see. So the market just came and then formed the actual 3-point trend line that everyone is now used to, right? As you can see, it really did try to tamper with our stop loss, and then it eventually just pushed up to the top. So that is actually what I wanted to share with you guys, how you can actually play around with the swing points that you have on your charts and for better entries or even better stop loss points. So that's it. Right now we're currently sitting in good profit on this Nasdaq trade, and this is what we are looking at right now. So I'm actually targeting this gap that I wanted to close, like I was saying, during the weekly analysis, right? I want it to close that gap, and then if it does, it will break out of this trend line. That will be absolutely gorgeous, right? But I don't know how much momentum we're going to get because of that, right? So that's about it. Let's just see how it actually goes. If I look on the daily time frame, let me just make a quick analysis. It's also the same thing, kind of still on a downtrend, right? But that's not what's bothering me for now. On the 1 hour time frame, let me see. Yeah, it still has to close that gap. I mean, it hasn't closed the gap. Normally it will close the gap. Let's just check what US30 is saying. Oh, and US30 is actually playing out, and that stop loss strategy that I just showed you right now is what can even apply here on US30. You see, we just had these two swing points, right? I had this level, I just connected to the next level, and then I just extended the line. I didn't try and force it to go into anywhere else. I just simply extended the line, and as you can see, the market now keeps respecting it according to that. I even know the potential zones where the market will actually go and rest on, right? Now on US30, what am I actually expecting here? I'm expecting, you can see it's creating a little build up, and it kind of has broken out of this level, right? So obviously, where will I place my stop loss? Let's use this practical example on US30. I think I'll take the trade here, right? So you want to take the lowest swing point that you have here and then connect it to the next point. That one is no longer valid. This is the next point that you can use, and then just extend the line, right? You don't have to force it to connect to everything else. And then right below that level is where you want to place your stop loss. So in this case, I would have placed it right at that zone, but then that would be too tight, right? At this level here where it formed this level, but it will still be inside the trend line. Why? I want to place it outside of the trend line. Why? Because when it breaks the trend line, the setup is invalidated, right? So that's exactly what I'll be expecting it to do. I wanted to play around at this spot and then eventually move up to the top. Now you can see USD is breaking out, and this is the level. This is the actual level where my stop loss should be, at that level. But then just to accommodate the wicks, I'm going to place it outside of the trend line so it doesn't tap it out at all. If we go on to the 15-minute time frame, you can clearly see that we have broken out, and we'll probably get a little bit of a retracement and then a bounce back up to the top. So that's about it on US30. I think I will go into a buy. I'll go into a buying trade right now. I'll go into a long position right now on US30, and then my stop loss would be right here, and then my TP would be at this point. More like a 1:1 risk to reward ratio for this particular trade. That is actually a bit too much, but then the actual stop loss, you understand, is right at this level, right? But then that other stop loss that I'm placing there is to just accommodate the weeks that we can have, right? So that's about it. Let's see how this trade eventually plays out. I'll be up for quite some time, and I'm actually targeting, the market to keep pushing and going up to the top thereabout. If it breaks there, we're going to have really good liquidity zones to sweep out and ride it up to the top. But for now, let's just see how the trade actually then plays out, and then we'll come back. I'll check it out in after the market opens, because it's going to close now and then it's going to open in just a few hours. I'm going to be studying, so I'll be up to check what's happened. All right, guys, as you can see, all right, I should not be screaming right now. Actually, it is actually 1:41. It is actually 1:48 a.m. in the morning right now, and just look at what happened on these charts. What are the odds that we actually open with a gap on a Wednesday? And for the first time, the gap is actually favoring us. I am super excited. I just opened the market. I wanted to actually just look at this US30. Remember, I told you that the market is closing soon. Now it just opened, and it opened with a really beautiful gap that you are seeing here. Look at that US30 trade, just exactly what we're predicting. It's already up in a good profit, and also that means that our Nasdaq trade has a gap also, as you can see, and it's floating in a good, absolutely good profit, over 600 pips on this particular trade. What are the odds that we actually would have gotten this type of movement in just a few hours, right? I never actually expected the market to move like this for today. We just relaxed with 300 pips and stuff like that, but we're actually chilling, and the market is moving up to the top. Just look at that. And it's quite late actually for me to update the inner circle right now. I will have to wait for tomorrow and just tell them that we are up plus 600 pips, and we should take partial profits and put our stop loss in entry or at break even, however you'd want to call that. But I'm super excited for this trade. It just played out perfectly fine. And let me just check out. So this means that gold would be selling if Nasdaq is actually shooting up. Gold actually has another gap again, right? I'm going to attempt to buy this trade on gold. let me see how it actually go out. It's actually at a good spot. It's at a good point of interest, right? This is the level that actually this would have been a good signal, but then the inner circle is sleeping right now. I can't give a signal at this time, right? So I'm just going to trade this in my own account. I'm actually going to go long here on gold. It's actually at a good level. I'm going to buy gold at this level. My stop loss right here, and I want to target that gap, right? I'm just going to actually target the gap, and then I'll check it out tomorrow, right? If the trade actually plays out well tomorrow, I'll place it somewhere here and I'll show you guys. If it does not, then I'll also show you guys somewhere here. All right, I'll place it there too. But that is actually really nice. I'm actually going to go to bed right now. The Nasdaq has been obliterated as usual. We're sitting over $2,000, right? Let me just show you guys this. All right, we're sitting over $2,000. You guys saw this trade from $800 when I started recording, right? It was around $800, and right now it is over $2,000. And this is actually what the gap looks like on this place. This is what the gap looks like, and it's an absolutely beautiful trade that we just had right now. But I'm super excited, to be hyped up like that, to be hyped up real bad for the trade. But I'm just gonna post this maybe on my Instagram page and update everyone else that this is the beautiful move that we're having on the Nasdaq. I'm actually super tired, super excited also at the same time. I can't wait to actually wake up tomorrow morning and update the inner circle. I actually show you the updates maybe, I don't know, somewhere here in the morning, because that is when this video will be edited anyway, in the morning. So I have most of the clips of when I update the group, right? So if you did enjoy this video, found it really helpful, make sure you actually try out that stop loss strategy. You can use it as a stop loss or as an entry where you can place your limit orders. Any way you'd want to use that tool is actually really helpful. Now, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like button, turn your post notifications, and subscribe to the channel. You feel me with that? It's Mintino, and I'll see you in the next lit video. Love you guys.